Good afternoon, Patriots. This is Praying Medic. It is Friday, May 18th, and this is my latest QAnon update. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this for a couple of days. I apologize for the delay. Denise and I were taking care of some business that did not allow me to create a Q thread, but I sat down last night and got this thing done. And Q did not disappoint, gave us lots of good information. And hey, Q, if you're listening, give me a break for a couple of days, okay? I got some stuff I gotta get done. All right, we have a lot to think about. For those of you who are doing your own Q decodes, and I would recommend that you learn how to do your own Q decodes so you don't have to rely on other people. QAnon.pub is one of the many sites you can go to. And for those of you who like the mobile apps, Q Alerts, I believe, is available both on Android and iOS, and Q Drops is also available on iOS. And shout out to my friend who is doing the Q Alerts. He put a nice thank you splash screen on the app, thanking me for my work. As I said, I don't make any money off of the app. It's his deal. I'm happy to promote his product, and he's given me a shout out. So we are together. Where we go one, we go all. My theme for this video is Gimme Shelter. So the storm is here. Pain is coming to the bad guys. Some of those people are in desperate need of shelter. And that is, we're doing a little Rolling Stones theme here for this particular series. So Q said that, and this is posted on the 15th, so 3 days ago. Over here on the right, North Korean news was fake. That's the news that North Korea may be pulling out of the peace talks. Twitter news, however, is real. Under the radar, free speech manipulation, brackets visibility and reach. Facebook fake account deletion, 100% fake. Are the accounts that they're deleting 100% fake? What are the checks and balances? None. Hashtag Internet Bill of Rights. So I've been hashtagging this last day or two. In brackets, narrative control, bandwidth test, public response, test limitations, midterms. These are the unspoken agendas of Nancy Pelosi and the people who control Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg. Their agenda is narrative control. That's why all this censorship is going on. They're testing the limitations, their ability to censor us. They're gauging public response because it's all about the midterms. They know they have to try to win the midterms if they have a chance of getting rid of Trump. That is their ultimate goal. They need to get rid of Trump, and they're desperate. This is their last shot. Are politicians bought and paid for? Start a storm, Q. And then Q posted a previous message over here. Stay together, be strong, get organized, be heard, fight the censorship. You, the people, have all the power. Q has previously talked about the possibility of joining class action lawsuits. I don't have any information on how to do that yet. You simply forgot how to play. Together you are invincible. They want you divided. They want you silenced. Make noise. We are with you. Make it rain, Q. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Oh, yeah, so this is an article. Facebook has disabled almost 1.3 billion fake accounts over the past 6 months. And as Q asked, are all those accounts actually fake? Who does the checks and balances? Maybe they're taking down conservative accounts just because they can. Q has suggested that they're testing their ability to suppress conservative viewpoint. They want to see how we're going to respond. They're going to plan their strategy for the midterms based on our response. And don't forget, they openly call us sheep. And not in the good way. All right. One of the Anons posted this. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter. And another Anon responded with this. The image on the left, let me see if I can get this. Image on the left This is from a Breitbart article that revealed that Google's in-home assistant gave a false answer to a question about Breitbart. And look, these in-home devices that Amazon and Google have, it's really all about, they sell us this crap ostensibly to help us, to make life more convenient for us. What they really want to do is control the narrative. They want to be able to have people ask them questions, and they get to have the answers. They get to provide information to brainwash us. They think of us as sheep. Article on the right is another Breitbart article where Twitter really admits to shadow banning users. They don't call it shadow banning, but they have come out and said, yeah, they are downgrading certain accounts. They are silencing certain accounts. They are preventing certain accounts, their tweets from being seen. But they have a good reason for it. They're taking action against people who are promoting hate speech. And of course, they get to define what hate speech is. And many times hate speech is simply whatever viewpoint disagrees with them. Here are the links to the articles. And the thing is, a year or two ago, Twitter and Facebook were denying that they were playing political favorites. They denied they had an agenda. They weren't censoring people. That was their narrative a couple of years ago. Now they've been caught. So now they're trying to justify it. Now that we know that they're censoring conservatives, they're justifying it. Well, yeah, we're censoring, but we're doing it because we don't want to promote hate speech. They're moving from denial to justification. You're going to see some more of that here in just a little bit. So Q posted this. It's part of a transcript of a conversation, I believe it's between Nancy Pelosi and Jack Dorsey, 5.2. I'm not sure if that's a timestamp or this is a timestamp. This might be a date, brackets 5.2. NP Nancy Pelosi at 8:11. Speaker X, your protection against, and then JD at 8:13 said ABC has an interest in this. And then at 8:14, NP Nancy Pelosi responded something Pier 39. Now, kind of a cryptic message, but I believe ABC is a reference to three-letter agencies, so I don't know if it was CIA or FBI or someone has an interest in this. The X's here could be John Boehner. One of the Anons posted this. Boehner does fit into the number of X's if you count them out. So what we've got here is a conversation going on between Jack Dorsey and Nancy Pelosi. And we have this back from February. Q posted, Jack, civilian puppet, player in the game, we play for keeps. Need help sleeping? How's your meeting with Pelosi? Protection offered? Life lesson, be smarter than those controlling you. T-minus 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know from previous posts that Jack is being controlled by the politicians. He does what they tell him to. He is being given protection by Congress, as much protection as they can give him, and his job is to silence their opposition, to silence conservative voices on Twitter. Little trade-off, the exchange. Okay, let's see. On the 16th, Q posted this. No such agency, NSA, versus Clowns in America, CIA. Today, now, what is being revealed? What will it lead to? P.S. Faces of lawmakers stepping out. Focus, not stepping down, stepping out. Focus, when did Admiral Rogers step down? Reconcile. Nunez, Gowdy, FBI, next, one of two. Now, the one of two down here at the bottom, I was hoping when people do these Twitter updates, they'll do one of two or one of three, two of three, three of three. I was hoping Q was going to give us a 2 of 2. That's why one of the reasons I was waiting to do this thread in the video was I was waiting for 2 of 2, but it never showed up. Admiral Rogers stepped down a couple of weeks ago. He is now a civilian. He is free to speak. P.S. Peter Strzok. Let me click on this, and this will give you a little bit of background information. This was a couple days ago. Admiral Rogers and Brennan and Clapper and Comey were all scheduled to appear before the Senate Intelligence Committee to testify. Comey skipped out. Brennan, Clapper, and Admiral Rogers showed up. And that's what this is about. And it's a closed-door meeting, so we don't really know what was going on. Now, that committee is chaired by Richard Burr. He is a swamp dweller. I don't know that all that much came out of that. However, if those people go to the House Intelligence Committee, chaired by Devin Nunes, or the House Oversight and Reform Committee, chaired by Gowdy, it's going to be a different story. They're not going to be in friendly confines. And I think that's why Q suggested Nunes, Gowdy, and then FBI next. Peter Strzok, P.S. The deep state's plan to get rid of the president is being exposed, and it's going to come out in these meetings. All right, let's move along. Q posted this, follow the pen, already written, letters left visible to match. And there's a link to a Twitter status. Where we go one, we go all. This is the tweet that Q linked to. It's from Jim Jordan, who's a member of the Freedom Caucus. It's high time for transparency. DOJ and FBI have continually and repeatedly thwarted congressional oversight. We're asking real Donald Trump to direct the Attorney General to give us the documents because the American people deserve answers. And this is a letter requesting documents that they have asked for. He's essentially asking the president to force the DOJ to give them these unredacted documents that are related to an investigation that are ongoing. So one of the Anons, this is a little bit disjointed, I apologize. One of the Anons asked why Peter Strzok was in London at the request of James Comey for Operation Crossfire Hurricane, which is a story that broke in the New York Times a couple days ago about the FBI's surveillance of the Trump campaign. And if you're interested, you can go check this out. If you have the Tor browser, you can read New York Times articles without paying for them. All right, so there's a lot going on in this thread. I apologize. Q responded to why was Strzok in London for Comey in Operation Hurricane. Q says SIS, Signals Intelligence Service, which makes sense because the investigation into the president and his campaign was a counterintelligence investigation, not a criminal investigation. They wanted to dig up intelligence, essentially, what they could to find out on that evil Trump and his collusion with Russia. Crossfire Hurricane, reference to an old the Rolling Stones song. All right, Andrew McCarthy did a really nice, he did a good job on looking at this Crossfire Hurricane nonsense. And if you have not checked out McCarthy's article, I would recommend doing it. He exposes the nonsense and makes it pretty transparent what was going on. Look, the Crossfire Hurricane story, it's an attempt by the deep state in the New York Times to put some positive spin on a very bad story that is about to break, and that would be the investigation into the DOJ and FBI. The the Inspector General's report is due imminently. We could see it in a week or so, and they know it's coming. So they have to put some positive spin. So they contacted their people in the New York Times and got the story going. Q-tip of the day. If you go to the QAnon.pub or any of the other sites, you'll note that they built it into the JavaScript in the website, the ability to offer suggested decodes for abbreviations. So if you go there and you see an underlined abbreviation, just mouse over it and it'll give you a suggested decode. that will help people who are not sure what the abbreviations mean. All right, that is your Q tip of the day. Q asked if we knew about the history of the three-letter agencies. U.S. history, ABCs. ABCs, I believe, is just a reference to the three-letter agencies, CIA, FBI, DOJ, etc. Signals intelligence, SIS, brackets FBI, arrow became or transitioned to CIA. C_A is Q's, one of many of Q's references to the CIA. And I should explain something here. So when Q refers to the clowns, generally Q is referring to kind of the dark side of the CIA. And when Q just says CIA or the agency, he's referring to the agency in general, probably rank and file people who are not, who don't have an evil agenda. So Q asked, did the covert counterintelligence branch of the FBI end, or was it expanded into a new agency? Double meanings exist. SIS is good. US colon UK colon US, US colon UK. UK intelligence, I think this has something to do with GCHQ, but Q is asking us to compare UK and US intelligence. And for those of you who want to do a little research, National Security Archive has a good article on the CIA and signals intelligence and the history of it. If you want to check that out, there's a link here on my Twitter timeline. And for those of you on YouTube, you can always click on the link in the description box with my YouTube videos. I always put a link to the original Twitter thread. You can come here and check out these articles if you want. Here's another article. This one is pretty long, pretty extensive. It's the evolution of the U.S. intelligence community. It's an historical overview, and it is lengthy. Pre-World War I, peacetime, during the 1800s and 1700s, World War II, the Central Intelligence Group, National Security Act of 1947, early years of the CIA, 50s and 60s, 70s, 80s, different scandals, the different committees, Rockefeller Commission, Church Committee, Pike Committee, the Murphy Commission. So if you're interested in digging into the history of the intelligence community, there's plenty of good articles out there. All right, one of the Anons found the pen picture that Q is referring to. And this is one that was dropped on May 10th. And you'll notice, if you in a close-up picture, there are some letters that are available that you can see here. And Q said those letters were there intentionally so that when the executive order came out, we could match it up. Now, when you see this, this is just Q confirming that is correct. The post number here, 1432955 in red, that corresponds with this post number up here, 1432955. So just a little clarification there. Now, this is good. I'm glad I waited to do this thread because I was going down the wrong road. And one of the Anons kind of figured this out. So he put the pieces of the puzzle together. On May 2nd, over here on the far left, I'm not going to mouse over it because it'll mess it up. May 2nd, far left, President Trump tweeted out, a rigged system. They don't want to turn over documents to Congress. What are they afraid of? So much redacting. Why such unequal justice? At some point, I will have no choice but to use the powers granted to me by the presidency and get involved. That was May 2nd. May 10th, Q dropped the pen picture, suggesting there's an executive order coming. May 15th, it was Ron DeSantis, Jim Jordan. They requested the president get involved. And then on May 16th, Q drops this current drop, follow the pen. All right, so don't get confused. Q then posted this and confirmed what the Anon was saying. The executive order has not yet been released. Today was a precursor. It must be requested officially first, correct? Q. Right. So Q is saying that this particular executive order, probably because of the reason of optics, needed to be requested by Congress first. So Congress has made the request, and now we get to look for an executive order that will come out. And what is that executive order going to be about? Well, when the pen drop picture came on the 10th, the file name was DOJ Nunez release, PNG. So I'm guessing it has something to do with Devin Nunes and what he's going to be doing with the House Intel Committee. One of the Anons told Q, new eyes joining the fight. Q said, those with an agenda to silence will fail. Pain coming. Q asked if it was a coincidence that the Freedom Caucus was formed in 2015. If you're interested, Denise and I found this article on the Freedom Caucus. It's actually very good. Gives a little overview. This is on Time Magazine, and you can search for this. Freedom Caucus is a rebellion that could change the GOP's future. For Time Magazine, it's actually a very good article on the history of the Freedom Caucus, where it came from, who's involved in it, and what their agenda is. I would definitely recommend reading it. Q shared a part of a previous post, and I'm not going to read this whole thing. It's not the entire post, it's just a part of it. And it again asks the questions. Why are Trump supporters screaming for the end? POTUS witch hunt, and add Rudy Giuliani quietly. He's been quiet for a while. Can the investigation officially and publicly drop Trump from review and continue? That is the biggest question that we have to ask now. Why did the Podesta group close shop? Why are known bad actors supporting Mueller? Why did POTUS interview Mueller one day prior to being appointed as special counsel if he was not eligible for that position? Why did Sessions recuse himself? What are the powers of Huber? Who has the power? Who can know? Trump and Sessions have the power, but no one can know about it. They have to think that Mueller has the power. Are Dems using it as a midterm tactic to win the House? Yes. Are they using it as ammo to gain a majority to impeach the president? That's their hope. Impeach on what grounds? What facts exist to impeach? There are none. House report, no evidence of collusion. So, I'll talk about this in just a minute, a little bit more, but I'm going to move on to the next Q post. So, Q dropped a link to a YouTube video, said, you have a choice, do what's right. This is the YouTube video. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get a copyright claim on my channel. But it's this Defense Department video. You can check it out if you want. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend watching it. One of the Anons posted this. It is an old Q post. We the people, we the people, we the people. Where we go one, we go all. No one person is above another. We the people are making the world a better place. We the people are taking back our country and the world from evil losers who would do us harm for a buck. No more. Stand up, patriots. Stand up and defend what you know is right. God bless you and God bless the United States of America. 4/10/20. DJT. And then the Anon added, thank you for your service to the Great Awakening, Baker. And Q posted this. Oh, the speech from, it's a shot from the inauguration. We are Q. The movement is growing. Somebody sent me a where we go one, we go all bumper sticker. That sucker is going on the back of my vehicle. I got to get out there and put it on today. Thank you to my friend who sent that to me. All right, so going back to Q's question. Can the investigation, the Mueller investigation, officially and publicly drop POTUS from review and continue? Well, guess what we just learned? We just learned that Robert Mueller is not going to indict the president. And he cited the DOJ regulations for prosecution that says they cannot indict a sitting president. And Robert Mueller said he's going to honor that. So the president is not going to be indicted. Now, for all of you who are out there screaming and hollering that Mueller is going to indict the president with some crime, you just found out he is not going to indict the president with some crime. And it is also very unlikely that Mueller is going to charge the president with a process crime like obstruction of justice. So here's the question. Has the president effectively been cleared of any wrongdoing? And Q has asked, can or would the investigation, the Mueller investigation, continue with a different target? I don't know. Would Mueller continue the investigation and go after Hillary's people? I don't know, but I believe we are now in the safe zone with respect to the president being under the magnifying glass as far as the Mueller investigation goes. All right, Q posted this, and it is the resume of Gina Haspel, who was just confirmed as a new CIA director. Haspel has been in ops in the CIA most of her career. Most of the actual information is classified, but this is as much as it could give us. I think it's good that Gina has been an ops person. She's familiar with the inner workings of the agency. She's worked in a lot of different departments. She's not a political appointee. So I think that bodes well for the CIA. The Anons have been having some good memes lately, so I've been posting them. Thanks guys and gals out there on 8chan. Shout out to all the Anons and the good work that you're doing. All right, so one of the Anons posted this. He thought, he was considering this thing that Q talked about the other day in the pickle. And that has to do with the conundrum that the EU is in. They're in this Iran deal, and that kind of tied them into a trade agreement with Iran. And Iran has said if they back out of this trade agreement, the Iranians are going to expose, to tell publicly, who took bribes to get into the Iran deal. But if the EU doesn't stay in the Iran deal, or I'm sorry, if they do stay in the Iran deal, the U.S. is going to apply economic sanctions on them. So they're kind of in a pickle. And that's what Q said. So Elon said, I know that pickle, PICL, Presidential Intelligence Checklist, pickle also could equal Hines and John Kerry. Could just be a hard decision like it normally is. Odd theory. John Kerry did marry one of the heirs to the Hines dynasty. And this is an article on that in Business Insider if you're interested. So Q responded, think pickle factory. What the heck is a pickle factory? Well, before the CIA was talked about openly, it was given a bunch of pseudonyms. Our friends across the river, the agency, the company, and it was also referred to as the pickle factory. I believe there was actually a pickle factory next door to the first CIA building back in the 60s. So that is what the pickle factory references to. And glad to see that the Anons are following Sundance at the Last Refuge. Sundance posted this. For your information, I suspect the silly codename Crossfire Hurricane is a load of bunk added recently for dramatic effect by the scheme team. It would be likely have been in the page Strzok text messages if it originated in 2016, as they have claimed, and it doesn't. It's not in there. Right, so if they're doing this Operation Crossfire Hurricane, it would have been in their messages. They would have been talking about it. You give an operation a code name so that you can use that code name and no one knows what you're talking about. And it's not in the messages. So Sundance, the Last Refuge, is saying that they just created this. So the Anons said they just keep lying. Not surprised. It's all coming soon. They won't be able to control the narrative anymore. Key responded to that. Bomb disposal team. Bombs, plural, are about to blow, which means, 1, they know, 2, they are told, controlled what to say. 3, both, coordinated, clowns or masks, Q. So this is about damage control. They know that the OIG report is coming. They know it is going to be damning, and they have been told they have to get something in print out there to do damage control prior to the OIG report coming out. It's coordinated, And clowns wear masks. Well, yes, they do. Because we have reason to believe that many of the New York Times reporters are probably clowns. They wear masks so that we don't know who they are. But Q has already told us who they are. So one of the Anons posted this. Mike Pompeo. This is a parody account of Mike Pompeo. He said, "I'm currently scrolling through Rolling Stone's lyrics to name our next spying op. Any requests?" And he said, this has probably been posted, but I thought it was funny. And this is what Q responded. "The hard part for us is having to wait for the public to know what we've known for a very long time. There is no bigger threat to them than the public being awake and thinking for themselves, why are we here?" This is something I want you all to think about. For the last, 50 years, our country has been accustomed to getting its information from the TV, from the news anchors. We get our information, we get our news from people who are paid to sell us a narrative. And we have been believing that narrative for a long time. And if Q is trying to do anything, Q is trying to get us to start thinking for ourselves, to stop believing everything people tell us, to stop believing what the media tells us, to stop looking at things on Twitter and going, oh, is this true? I don't know if this is true. This might be true. We have got to start thinking critically. We have to start thinking for ourselves. We have to learn how to reject nonsense and not spread it, to reject fake news and not spread it, to share things that we get all excited about because we think it's true without actually researching it to find out if it's true. Before you share something on social media, do some research and find out if it's actually true. Do some research, read some articles. People ask me, what sources of news do I trust? I don't trust any sources of news. I read a lot of different sources of news. I read articles from the Middle East, from Europe, from America, from Asia. I look at what they're saying, and then I jump on, Q's board, and I go back and look at what Q has said, and I allow Q's drops to help me interpret what the mainstream media is telling me. I don't trust the mainstream media, and I don't think you should either. We have to get out of this idea, this mindset that we have to trust. We have to find a source of news that we can trust. You're not going to find a source of news that you can trust. You simply are not going to find a source that you can trust. You need to think for yourself. You need to analyze the information, read through it all, sort out what's propaganda and what is true, and come to your own conclusions. That is why Q and the team are there. They're trying to help us think for ourselves. All right, off my soapbox. Let's continue. Q asked, what is the common theme when bad news is about to break against them? Stay vigilant. The common theme that I've seen is that when a bad story is about to break, they want to preempt that story with another story that paints them in a positive light. If the bad story is going to draw attention to illegal or unethical activities, they try to justify those illegal or unethical activities. Previously, the Obama administration denied spying on the Trump campaign. But now that it's obvious they did and they lied about it, they're trying to justify it. I saw this morning, Clapper is now on Twitter and on CNN talking about why it's a good thing that they spied on the Trump campaign. They used to deny it. And now that we know that they did, they're trying to justify it. Jack Dorsey, they denied censoring conservatives on Twitter, but now that it's been exposed, they're trying to justify it. So Q posted a link to a Reuters article. And here you go. Jeff Sessions announced that the Justice Department will hand over documents that Congress has been asking for 6 years regarding the Fast and Furious scandal, which Eric Holder refused to give them. I believe this was under state secrets. And I meant to include this in this thread. I've done a bunch of research on state secrets, and Q has asked about it in the past. Let me see if I can remember to put that in the next thread in the next video. And we'll look at state secrets because it's an important thing. But I believe Obama and Holder refused to give up the information under state secrets. And if you want, you should do some research on your own about that. So, Q then posted this: trust Sessions, trust Wray, trust Kansas, Pompeo, trust Horowitz, and trust Huber. Sessions is Attorney General. Chris Wray is Director of FBI. Pompeo is Secretary of State. Horowitz, Inspector General for DOJ. And Huber is the U.S. Attorney who will be prosecuting all these creepy people we've been talking about. Q then posted a crumb from April 2nd. Why was all this made public? John Huber was appointed by, removed by, reappointed by. Why the reboot? Think logically. History books, Q. And this is a Breitbart article. We've referred to this before. It's an article from Turley, who is a legal analyst, an expert, who said that having Huber prosecute this case is much better than having a second special counsel. Huber, I believe, was rehired by Sessions. He was fired, and then he was rehired by Trump and Sessions because he can be trusted with a prosecution of this historic magnitude. History books. This is all going to go down in history. Here is a link to the article that Q posted. And Q posted another link that is to a Breitbart article. The coming Inspector General report will say that the FBI broke the law in the Clinton email probe. And then he wrote, God bless the United States of America, D5Q. D5 is the largest scale avalanche, on the avalanche scale. A draft came out about the Inspector General report, and the draft gives some indication of what is going to be covered in the OIG report and what the findings will be. It will allow people in the FBI and DOJ to respond. They don't have very long. They only have a few days to respond. And if they can respond, and then their response could be included in the final report. If you're interested in learning more about that, follow Sundance, The Last Refuge, at Conservative Treehouse. He has been doing really good work on that. All right, one of the Anons stumbled upon something I find to be astounding. This, over here on the left, is an unsealed indictment of Anthony Weiner, and it was unsealed on the 16th. So the Anon said the source of the unsealed Weiner indictment is Pacer Service Center, found at, and there's a website there. See the blue text at the top. That's the standard header that appears on all documents filed in the U.S. federal courts. We cannot link directly because access to these files in Pacer is granted only to Pacer account holders, i.e. to legal professionals like myself. I have an idea for Pacer account holders. Let's start doing random searches using only the search phrase unsealing order for 2018. This will pull up any and all unsealed indictments in any given federal court in which we do that search, if only so that other people with Pacer accounts will get on board with me. So this is the indictment. And it is. It's an indictment of Anthony Weiner, who's a defendant. And Q said 100% authentic. And one of the Anons said, Schneiderman is gone, proper judge is in place. Right, so Schneiderman, who was the New York Attorney General, is gone. Now that we have a new judge in place, the Weiner indictment can go forward and probably get a fair prosecution. Q said, impressive, Anon. All right, this is just FYI. Going back again to May 10th, which was the day that Q dropped the pen picture. On May 10th, this was posted on the White House website. Donald Trump announced the 14th wave of judicial nominees, 13th wave of U.S. attorney nominees, and the 8th wave of U.S. Marshal nominees. There's 10 judges, 2 U.S. attorneys, and 1 U.S. Marshal. 7 of the 10 judges are being nominated for positions in New York. either Eastern District, Southern District, or Western District of New York. So New York is getting a whole bunch of new judges. And now that we have judges in place who don't have the agenda of the former administration, now we can start prosecuting these people. So Q said that timing is critical. What had to happen first? Think logically. Think DOJ, FBI. Think cleaning. Number 64. Puzzle coming together. We have reached our cruising altitude of 40,000 feet long ago. As we prepare to land, please fasten your seatbelt. Make sure your seat back and your folding trays are in their full upright position. Q. So one of the Anons asked for verification that this was the number 64 he referred to. And this is a previous post about James Baker being fired, Lisa Page being fired, Cortan being fired, Josh Campbell fired, Loftman fired, John Carlin fired, Sally Yates fired, all these people in FBI and DOJ getting fired. Q is basically saying, look, we had to clean out all these people at the leadership levels before we could do any prosecution. And that process has pretty much been completed. There may be some more people that have to go, but we're getting ready. And then Q reposted it, confirming that that was correct. All right, Q posted this. I have no idea what that means. And it's actually not on, the number 87 there indicates that it's on the Patriots Fight board. I saw it on the QAnon.pub website, but it's not on the Patriots board. I don't know what that's all about. The Anons are coming up with some good memes. So I wanted to share them with y'all. One for the history books. All right. Q posted a series of seemingly unrelated pictures. The two on the left, I believe, are in London. This is Trafalgar Square, this one right here. People wearing, on the street, dresses, people wearing jackets, different things. Said note to jackets, time of year. Probably, I don't know, February, March. Definitely a time when you want to be warm. All right, now people have been wondering about these Apple-related photos that were posted on May 2nd. The truck with the pallets and the boxes and the Apple store in, I think it was Hong Kong. The airplane and the Apple headquarters, what is this all about? Well, I assumed that they were for future use. So one of the Anons came up with this brilliant analysis. Here's my theory. Those pallets were full of smartphones to be distributed to members of the cabal. Hillary, Bill Clinton, Obama, Brennan, Clapper, etc. These were special phones which the cabal thought could not be tracked or monitored. They thought they had phones that could not be tracked. The cabal needed a new way to communicate after Q exposed their Gmail draft and their game forum methods. Hillary was in New Zealand, Five Eyes, not only to raise funds, if that is the true story, but to test out the phones. Under directions of Trump, New Zealand told Hillary the phones were good. The cabal then worked with China's ZTE for these special phones. That's why ZTE was mentioned in the news lately. Trump drew attention to them to send a message to the cabal that he was on to them. The pics in London show the cabal meeting up after communicating with their secret phones. Just a theory. I think he has a very good theory. Q posted this in response. We are everywhere, Anon. Q. I'll show you a bit better picture. This is Air China photo. Now, Q did not confirm that the Anon was correct in his theory, but I think he's on the right track. If he is on the right track, I would just add something. And it's a question, did Hillary visit New Zealand with her U.S. security clearance as Secretary of State? to find out what the Five Eyes had on their new phones. And do it in a way that would not alert anyone to what she was doing, because Q posted this on the 10th. Remember, why do former dignitaries still hold security clearance? U.S. to U.S. equals a logged, flagged, and recorded entry in the intelligence database. But U.S. in New Zealand, no logs, no flags, no records, equals U.S. security clearance, authorization Five Eyes view and take, document take. So I'm wondering if Hillary went to New Zealand to find out what information had been logged on these phones and what was recorded, so that she could verify if the phones were clean. Just a theory. This is the tweet by the president about ZTE. Washington Post and CNN had said that, reported some stories about ZTE, and the president said it's fake news. Nothing has happened. Nothing's changed. All right. Q posted this, more pictures, some boxes, pallets, and then this is a picture. It looks like a picture outside of a manufacturing facility, the third one from the left. There's a lot of motorbikes and vehicles outside. It's a big manufacturing plant. And then you have pictures that look like they're inside the manufacturing plant. Note the file names. Farthest to the left, Class 1 PNG. Second from the left, Class 2 PNG. Third, Foxconn ZZ PNG. And the fourth one is X10 PNG. Those file names have meanings. And I would suggest going, if you're researching this, go back and look at the use of class 1, class 2, class 3. Those words are meaningful. I have previously noted that it seems like the word class refers to a classification of people, sometimes people in Congress or politicians or whatever. There is some tie-in here, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but we're going to find out soon enough what that means. Q then posted this picture, which also has an interesting file name, LV remove. Many of the nons have noted that this seems to be a shot over Las Vegas. Relevant. I'm not exactly sure how. Q posted this, and the file name is X2. Somebody sent me a message this morning. It said, check out the plot of the X2 movie. It might be relevant. All right, Q posted this. A picture of an owl. Guardian of the Pope. Brackets personal. Q. Q did say that the Pope is going to have a very bad May. And there has been discussion from the Pope that he has been talking about when it might be time for him to resign. So there is a lot going on. Q posted this, messages sent, and Q. So that does not mean Q is never going to post again. Q has often in long strings of on a thread. When we come to the end of the thread, Q will say end, letting us signifying that that's the end of this particular discussion. So that is all I have for you on this Q update. I hope you found it helpful. There's a lot that we could dig into and research here. We are in the justice phase. We are going to see the prosecution happen quickly. We have the OIG report coming out soon. Just want to thank everybody for your prayers. Keep the president in prayer. Keep Q and the team in prayer. Keep Denise and I in prayer. We had a couple of rough days, but we are in good spirits right now. Moving forward, everything is good. Appreciate your prayers. Appreciate your financial support. This is Praying Medics signing off. I will catch you on the next broadcast.